So we are DevDuckies, me, Nuno, and another colleague who cannot be present today. And we are going to talk about VisualChain, our project for the Geekathon of 2023. So go ahead, Nuno, the stage is yours. Everyone can see your face and your presentation. So go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. So I'm Nuno. My colleague is Guido. We are both software engineers at xgeeks, and we developed a tool named VisualChain in a hackathon organized by the company that will be present in this talk. Unfortunately, I cannot be present there, but let's do this at some distance. So in this session, we will discuss why we start this project, how the idea was generated, and what we achieved. Then we will mention what this tool named VisualChain is, how it works, and finally a demo and what we want to do in the future. So regarding the background, just to give you some context, xgeeks usually organize an hackathon per year with different subjects, and the theme of last year was the future of development powered by AI tools. Saying this, I, Guido, and Roman, who is a third member of the group, got together and started brainstorming. So in the center of the presentation, you can see some picture of us, and this brainstorming led us to think about creating a tool that could make life easier for developers or people who don't have experience in coding or working with the most recent LLM technologies. And from that, VisualChain comes up, which we will talk deeper in the next minutes. In the hackathon, we had 48 hours of intense coding. We delivered a working tool which led us to in the best project. And on the screen, it's possible to see some pictures of us raising the price. And yeah, this being said, feel free to attend next year. It's an amazing experience. So what is VisualChain? It's an open source, user-friendly, Electron-based visual programming tool that allows the user to easily generate code for OpenAI API interactions and design AI algorithms. So the user can drag, drop, and connect multiple nodes to create a flow, which can be translated into code in different programming languages like JavaScript and Python. We allow the user to choose between image, text, or audio models that are provided by the OpenAI, and from the generated code in the chosen language, it can be executed and explained directly in the platform. And the code can also be downloaded to be integrated in our projects. So without further ado, back to Guido that will show the tool and how it works.
Okay, thank you, Nuno. Can you pass to the next slide, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. So VisualChain, he briefly explained it a little bit, but let's go a little bit in depth, not too much technical because you are here to see what this tool does. But in a nutshell, we do have a set of nodes and we can connect these nodes together to create a sort of a flow or an algorithm. The nodes that we have at the moment are OpenAI, which allows you to input your OpenAI key. We do have one for completion, which is the standard text-based node. So you create a completion and the OpenAI model will then give you a response back. We can also do the same with an image. So we give it a prompt for an image and the model will then display us an image generated from our prompt. The same thing can happen with the transcription, where you would give him a audio file, so an MP3 file, and the OpenAI model will transcribe that audio to text. All of this can be done inside of our application, and we can choose to which language we would like the code to be parsed into. So at the moment, we do have two languages, Python and JavaScript. And Nuno, can you scooch a little bit to the side because this is not showing, but yeah, perfect. So as you can see, we do have here a type of flow that you might find in our application. So can go next slide. Let's take a look into VisualChain in action, and let me find my application right here. Yeah, full screen. So as Nuno mentioned, this is a Electron-based application. Initially, this wasn't the case. We started with a React application, but we ran into some problems late in the hackathon, and we decided to do a last minute change into Electron, and this worked wonderfully for what we wanted to do. But basically, this is what you see. There is a small tutorial, and there are two nodes, the start node and an end node. These nodes can be dragged around, doesn't really matter. And here on the side, you have your sidebar that allows you to drag and drop or open or create nodes. So let's go ahead and drag one of the API keys. So you dragged it from the side to, well, your canvas, and you do have your node. And like I mentioned, the OpenAI one allows you to add an API key. This key will be used to do all of the requests. So it should be a valid key, but let's go ahead and grab a valid key that I have here. And then we can drag and connect the start node into this OpenAI node. And it only works with the OpenAI one. But then we can drag, for instance, a completion, and we can connect both of the OpenAI with the OpenAI completion. And this will allow you to, well, for once, choose a model. We'll go with the cheaper one. We can set the temperature. This is one of the parameters that we allow you to change on the model. Lower temperature will mean that the response from the model will be more conservative. A higher number will mean that the model will be more creative, and therefore the output from the model will be a little bit more creative. So let's go ahead and give it a prompt here. Let's ask for a joke. So tell me a joke about developers. So now that we have this here, we can choose a language. So we drag the language code and we connect them, and we connect the language code into the end node to complete our flow. In this case, let's go ahead and choose JavaScript for the language. And with a valid connection, once we hit the run button, you get this generated code window, or, well, this is actually a new node that doesn't have any connections, but here you can see the code that was generated. The code is in JavaScript. It uses the OpenAI library from NPM. You can see that the key provided is over there. My content is here, as well as the model and the temperature. So if I change those values, it's going to be reflected over here. And now we do have three options. We can, one, download the code. This will bring up a dialog for you to save the code in your computer. We can ask OpenAI to explain this code, and this will generate a new window that will be populated with the response from what this code does. So this is OpenAI interpreting this code. Also, this key is not going to be fed back into OpenAI. So we are on the code explanation. And we can then, let's move this up over there. Well, this is the explanation if you guys want to read it, but this code is really simple. Creates a completion, waits for it, and, well, it responds back with, so we will let the OpenAI model tell us a joke about developer. So if we executed it, and this is the part that it was more difficult in this project. If we execute this code is being executed in the background, and we then have our output. So the joke that OpenAI came up with is, why don't developers like nature? Because it has too many bugs. Well, it's not wrong though. And this is an interesting use case. And we can see that if we generate a new one in Python, we'll get a new node with basically the same code, but written in Python. If I execute it, everything should behave the same way. So let's take a look into another node, and let's take a look into the image node. So the image node is a little bit similar to the completion node. So you connect it back because, well, I've broken the connections, and we can choose one of the two models provided by OpenAI. We do have DALL-E 2 and DALL-E 3. Let's choose DALL-E 3. Let's choose one image, and let's ask it for, I don't know, let's ask it for create a cartoon image of a French bulldog. So let's have the model create a cartoon image of a dog. We can put back to JavaScript, Python. If we run it, as you can see, the generated code is a little bit different. It allows me to create an image. And if I execute this one takes a little bit longer. I should have, yeah, the spinny thing, waiting for the image to be generated, but in due time, I should get an image of a, of a French, muscular French bulldog, I guess. So everything is being done behind the scenes. And this was the reason that we chose Electron, because you cannot run server-side code on React. We tried multiple different approaches. We went with Next to try to leverage their server-side capabilities. But in the end, Electron rescued us and provided us the perfect environment to use your machine. So the code is being run on your machine and is being then fed into our visual ambient, I guess, visual canvas. And finally, we do have another one, which is the transcription. So let's try and showcase this one as well. The transcription allows you to choose a file. I do have already prepared the file here, which is just me saying, hello, everyone, welcome, because I don't want to use anything too big. But if I choose this, well, can go back to JavaScript. And if we run it, here is the code that is going to be run. And if I execute this, I should have the output for what I said, basically. So yeah, this is VisualChain, very in very big terms of what's going on. This is what it does at the moment. We do have some feedback from people at the Geekathon who told us where we can go with this. But I think that Nuno, you can be the one telling them a little bit about what we had thought for this project, where we want this to go. So yeah, let me just put your face back on the screen.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, perfect.
So let's continue. Just to wrap up, we would like to enforce the project is open source, and you can have a look into the repository through the QR code that is present on the top right of the screen. You can contribute by yourself, and for sure the community will appreciate that. So as you can see, our tool is easy to use, and there is no need to code, so anyone with low knowledge can create a flow without a big effort. And to finish with what we have in mind for the next steps, we want to add the option to generate code that uses LangChain instead of requesting the OpenAI API, but also instead of having the code, hard code, and then concatenate the code blocks, we want to generate all the code through large language models, which can be great if we had the possibility to build more complex flows. For that, one of our ideas is to generate a data object like a JSON in the app based on the current flow, and by sending the right prompt, the LLVM could generate the respective code. This can be tricky and error-prone, but we believe that we will be possible to fine-tune until make it work. We also would like to support more programming languages, adding the possibility to build more complex flows, as I have said, and deliver more nodes and increase its configuration parameters. We know that at the moment, the flow that is possible to create is simple, but we believe that we can increase the complexity of that. An example could be using the output of one flow as input of another one, and so on. We also like to save and add the possibility to load the flows that were created before to give an even better experience to the user. And yeah, this is the VisualChain. We hope you enjoyed our talk. Thanks for your attention, and now back to Guido.
So it pretty much sums up what I wanted to say. That was the roadmap that we had in mind for this project. What we initially created, or what we initially envisioned for this tool, was 100% created. So this was the idea that we came up with before the hackathon, and we ended up finishing it into the state that we wanted it to finish. If we had more time, as you know, hackathons can be a little bit crazy sometimes, but the code's not the best, but it's working as intended, and that's what matters here. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to, I don't know, do you have a... Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So thank you, Guido. Any questions for Guido? For Guido and for Nuno? Yeah, Martin over there.
Nuno is covering his QR code.
Thank you for this really cool presentation. And yeah, you answered already. I kind of had in mind what's your next steps, but you kind of said it there. So that's really cool. But where you see, let's say, product market fit for this? Is this more like educational, I guess, or what is your...
Well, when we started thinking about this, we wanted for people who have no knowledge, or really small knowledge, or little knowledge of coding, to be able to jump into this AI train, where now everything is all about AI, and some people who do not know how to code might not be able to jump and create like a big flow, or a big algorithm that leverages the possibilities for AI. And this is where we wanted to focus. So pretty much everyone who doesn't really know how to code can create and execute a flow here, and have it being explained, downloaded it so that it can run it on its machine, or inside another project, or even run it on the platform itself.
Okay. Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Guido. Any more questions for Guido and for Nuno, for DevDuckies itself? No. Yeah, I think it's it. Yeah. Thank you. And you can pass the word for your next speaker. Oh, no, maybe we have one. Sorry.
Thank you. Congratulations. When you do 2 times run, do you obtain the same result?
Sorry?
When you run 2 times or more the software that you are showing, do you obtain the same result?
Yeah. So basically, the code that it generates, it's going to be the same if the same nodes are in the same order. The output of that flow might be different, and it depends on the OpenAI model, because, well, that's out of our control. So that's basically...
This is in order to see if the system has some fantasy, showing some different possibilities when you ask the same question.
Yeah, you can use it for that purpose as well. Asking the same question, but usually the same question will yield different results.
Okay. Thank you.
So, if you don't... I think we have one more here. Yeah. Please. No problem.
Volcano, sorry. Thank you for the presentation. I just want to ask, what was the exact issue you stumbled upon when you use an Next.js in that case?
So that's a good question. Initially, we started with React, and React doesn't allow you to run code outside of the browser environment. And we wanted to be able to use that because we wanted the code to be the same code that you would use, for instance, in the Node application. So the code that it generates is the code that you would generate on a Node application. So we wanted to be the same code. And the reason it didn't work for Next, in my opinion, it was because of the dependencies. So both for Python and for JavaScript, Next wouldn't allow you to use external dependencies such as, or in this case, the OpenAI library, both for Python and for node. And because Next wouldn't allow you to use that, wouldn't allow you to require that that dependency, we had to scrap Node and turn our backs into, or turn ourselves into Electron, because Electron allows you to use your machine as the, I would say, where you execute the code that is generated. I don't know if I answered your question correctly, but
more or less I understand. Thanks, man.
sure.
Does it create like a separate environment?
Sorry. Just to be recorded. Sorry.
Does it generate a separate environment to execute the code?
No, that's a great question. The way that we are running the code that is generated is with a small hack that it's a little bit, I think it's not deprecated at the moment, but you can run a single line of a single string on your against your Node application. So you can run Node. I think the flag is like C or F or something, and pass like a string, and it can execute everything that you. Sorry? Is it? Yeah, probably that. I don't remember, but it evaluates that string, returns as the object. Is not the prettiest solutions, but for the hackathon it was what we had in mind and what worked on in this scenario. So it works the same for both Python and Node.
Yeah, thanks. Just a quick one. But you do have to have the Python or a Node installed on the machine?
Yeah, so for Node, it shouldn't be required. We didn't test it because I didn't want to uninstall Node to test it out. But for Node, I don't think you need to have it installed on your machine, because because everything is bundled on the Electron. However, for Python, you do need to have both Python and as well as the dependency for OpenAI, the OpenAI package for Python to run.
Okay, thanks.
And that was one of the difficulties of the project.
Thank you. We have room for one or two questions more if you have it. If not, yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Guido. A round of applause.
Bye-bye, Nuno.
Bye.
And